Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Coco and today we are going to be starting a new vlog. I really have wanted to get back into touch with nature. I want to literally touch grass. I am someone who really enjoys that and it really helps my mental health to be out in nature, hiking, doing outdoor things, and I really haven't been able to because I'm chronically ill and it's been really hot. And air conditioning is the only thing that helps me when my chronic illnesses flare, and it's because of the heat. But the weather has gotten a little bit nicer lately. We're going to try and get out into nature and read some books in nature as well. Books that I'm going to be reading this week are also nature related. They feel like they bring you closer to nature. I have two books that I for sure am going to be reading for this vlog. I might have one or two more depending on how quickly I get through these, but I'm just gonna take my time and enjoy them. First one is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. This is supposedly like a literary mystery set on the island of Shearwater off of the coast of Antarctica. There's no other islands around, there's no other people around, and the last people that are on this island are this man and his children. And they're basically the stewards of this island, as all the researchers, everyone else who has been on this island have left. It is still a seed bank for basically the world's seeds, so it still needs to be taken care of, and that is their job. They're used to being isolated and alone, but one day a woman washes up on shore and they have to unravel the mystery and figure out what happened. And this is basically that experience. It sounds incredible. The cover itself is incredible, and I've heard really good things about it. And this would be my first Charlotte McConaughey. So I'm really excited about this one, and it definitely feels close to nature. Maybe it'll help me feel a little bit cooler and cool down a bit because it's set off of the coast of Antarctica. The second book that I will have a physical copy of tomorrow is Green Teeth. This is a book that tells a story of the well-known Jenny Greenteeth, who is this witch that lives in a lake, and she is basically like the steward of the lake. There's a theme here. And one day a random human girl falls into her lake and is injured, and Jenny has to, I believe, like nurse her back to health. But they end up on this adventure from these evil people. I believe there's like an evil pastor wanting to, not literally, but like pave paradise, put up a parking lot. I have a couple of other ideas for books that I want to read, but I'm not quite sure yet, like I said. So just stay tuned for those, but these are the first two that I'm definitely going to be reading in this vlog. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. I'm waiting for my husband to get home from work, and we're going to walk to the coffee shop. So not quite in nature, but we'll be walking in nature for a little bit. Yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. All right, friends, I am back from the coffee shop, and I would hold up my book for you, but it doesn't have a dust jacket on, so it's really not going to help anyway. I will put on the screen somewhere over here, but I have gotten through about 96-ish pages of Wild Dark Shore, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I was wrong. The character Rowan is the one who washed up on shore. She does remember things. She's just kind of hiding some things, but the family that lives there is also hiding some things. So it's kind of a game of everybody's hiding something and no one wants to come out with it, but it's making for a really interesting kind of mystery. You're really kind of kept in the dark as the reader, and it's just a really interesting way to go about the storyline in a really masterful way. It doesn't feel like the author is just keeping things from us just to keep the suspense up. It feels really natural. It's from the perspective of everyone on the island. The mom of the kids is long gone. She died. I'm not sure. It doesn't really say how yet, but she's no longer with them. And it's really interesting because these kids grew up on this island. Basically, they've been there for 8 years, and the youngest boy is like 8 or 9, so he's been there his whole life. And it's really interesting to see how kind of being in such an isolated place with only their family and up until recently researchers has affected the way that they live, but it means these kids are like really close to nature and also really mature and well adjusted for their age, I think. I mean, I may be completely wrong about that once we get farther into the story, but so far it's really good, and it's not annoying to be in these kids' heads when we're looking at things from their perspective. I was a little bit worried literally in like the first chapter that maybe this wasn't going to be for me and maybe it wouldn't keep my attention, but it absolutely hooked me right towards the end of the first chapter. It's very, very beautiful writing. It evokes such an atmospheric feel, and it feels like you know what it's like to live on this remote island near Antarctica, having never been there. Charlotte McConaughey knows how to write beautifully and very poetically without it seeming like she's trying to or forcing it, which I've had trouble with other authors where it feels like they're just forcing it. Like C.G. Drew's, I did not like Don't Let the Forest In, because it felt like she was trying to force the writing style and it didn't really fit either the story or her writing style. But I think Charlotte McConaughey really has a good grasp of it, and this book is really making me want to read more of her stuff, because if it's anything like this, it's just going to be so beautiful and evokes the feeling of being in nature, and also bring awareness to like the issues with climate change, pollution, all of these things that aren't fiction. They are something that we are dealing with now and will continue to be dealing with. So yeah, I'm really, really liking it so far. We have secured green teeth, and we are going to be reading this very soon. But first, I still need to finish Wild Dark Shore. I've gotten a little bit farther in it. I'm almost halfway, but not quite enough to give you another update. I have a couple errands I need to run, but timing of it's kind of weird. So we're gonna read outside, Sophie on the lead, enjoy the sun, and then go do some adult things like drop books off back at the library and pick up prescriptions. So I've just been sitting here reading this, and there's been one or two things that have been revealed, and I have a feeling some crazy stuff's about to happen, so I'm gonna film it. Oh, I'm not ready for this. What the fuck, Charlotte McConaughey?
My God, pull yourself together!
So I have gathered myself. I went on errands, and I was able to sit with this book and think about it for a bit, because this book emotionally destroyed me. I am not a person who generally will cry at books, even when they are emotional or raw or anything like that. It takes a lot for me to cry at a book. Charlotte McConaughey is a genius. She is an incredible writer. Her prose is beautiful, and this story is beautiful and sad and poignant, and just there's so many other adjectives I could think of to describe this book, but the thing that I'll say is that whether or not you're somebody who's into literary fiction, whether or not you're usually into books about nature, whether or not you're usually into a mystery style book, I think that a lot of people would get a lot out of this and enjoy reading this. For someone who has never had an experience like living on a remote island near Antarctica with just basically your family and researchers, this book really hits home for me in a lot of different ways that I'm not going to go into. One, because they're personal, and two, because they would spoil the book. But the only thing I have to say is, if you're on the fence, read this. If you aren't sure if you want to read it, you should read it. I need to read her other books now. I just am so glad that I picked this up. I'm about 70 pages into Green Teeth, and so far I'm really enjoying it. It's not quite like a cozy fantasy. It's got a little bit higher stakes than that, but it is really enjoyable so far. So Temperance is a witch, and she was the one that was thrown into the lake by a pastor that is new to town and decided that she was up to no good and that she was evil, even though she had been helping deliver babies and help with ailments for years. But she is thrown in the lake shackled, and Jenny Greenteeth decides that she's going to save her rather than eat her or let her drown. And she offers Temperance a way to leave town with her children and her husband. But Temperance realizes that she does not want to give up that easily. She was there first. The pastor was not. So Jenny offers to help her, but they quickly realize that something is off about this pastor, and he's not just a religious zealot, he's evil, and there's more going on. So that's as far as I've gotten in this book, but I'm really enjoying it, and I think this is the perfect place to be reading this right now, and I'm really excited to read some more. So it's been a couple days since I spoke with you guys. I did finish Green Teeth yesterday, and I'm going to talk about that. But I did also spend most of the day kind of offline, spending time with one of my best friends and crocheting, just chatting. And it was a really good time. I really enjoyed it. But Green Teeth was a success for me. I really liked it. I liked reading in nature. It was a perfect book to be reading surrounded by trees and near a river. The story is just like, it's your quintessential quest story. Jenny and Temperance and a hobgoblin named Brachus go on this adventure to try and save Temperance's town. And I love Jenny as a main character because she is a lake monster. She's not your typical like damsel. She's not a strong female main character like typically where, yeah, they're the strongest person that's ever lived and they're the chosen one, but they're also really beautiful. According to humans, Jenny is terrifying, not beautiful. And I love that she's funny. She shows that looks are deceiving and that things change, people change. And I just really loved that this story didn't center, a knight coming to rescue somebody. It centered the characters that no one thinks about. It centered a lesser fae. This isn't a high fae story. Anytime you hear about fairies, you hear about elves or like other high fae. So I really enjoyed that about this book. If you're looking for like a really good quest story, a good fantasy with some interesting characters and some humor, I would say pick up Green Teeth because I really, really enjoyed it. It kept me wanting to turn the page. I think the pacing was really good. And for a debut novel, just in general, this book, I think, really did really well. I'd say I'd give it like a 4.5. I do want to try and like get away from doing star ratings in my videos because I feel like I overuse it. I feel like me and other people, we tend to quantify everything. Like, it's just what we do in the society that we've grown up in. And I want to quantify my hobbies less and my interests a little bit less. I don't want to have to assign a number to everything. So I am still going to list like a rating on storygraph. If you're interested, you can go look at those. But I think in the future, I'm not going to really talk about that stuff in videos. I'm just going to like let you know if I recommend this book, if I had fun, who I would recommend these books for, etc. So overall, I had a really good week. Charlotte McConaughey made me cry with Wild Dark Shore. That is one of my favorite books that I've read this year. It's incredible, and I can see why everyone's talking about it. Green Teeth was really, really fun, and I did end up reading Ash's Cabin, which is this graphic novel that is about a young, I think non-binary 16-year-old, and they go off to their grandpa's hidden cabin. They have to find their grandpa's cabin and kind of live off the land because they don't feel listened to at home, and they feel like they kind of want to find themselves, and I thought it was a really cute story. The adult in me is cringing at like not telling their parents that they're going to this cabin, and their parents like probably frantically looking for them and hoping that they're okay. But the story itself was cute, and it involves a dog. The dog does not die, which gives it extra points. And I really liked it. The art style was really cute too. So overall, really good week. I felt like I got back to nature. I enjoyed my time on the trail, and that's definitely one that I'm going to continue to go to. It's near my campus of my school, so I'm definitely going to be going there more often, and I had a good week. I hope you did too. And if you have any other nature themed books, fiction or nonfiction, that you think I should read, let me know. I do have Braiding Sweetgrass in my TBR, but other than that, it's kind of up in the air. So please make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed my content, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.